Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Throw My Way. My 24 male girlfriend, 24 female, bragged to her friend about how attractive her coworker is, 25 male, and said she would date him if she wasn't with me. I feel really betrayed and don't really understand what it means. So, my girlfriend and I had been official for about 3 months before this happened. Things were fine in the beginning, but she started acting weird a few weeks ago. She works in retail and has plenty of male colleagues, most of whom she never talked about or even mentioned their names. They were always this guy or that guy. So out of nowhere, she starts bringing up this one guy by name in our conversations. Let's call him Alan. Alan's name seems to be popping up anytime she brings up work. Whether it's a conversation they had or something that happened at the job irrelevant to him, his input and name always seemed to come up. I didn't think anything of it at first, but I grew suspicious after realizing just how often his name had come up in any of our conversations. My girlfriend also recently started making jokes about leaving me or finding someone else whenever we were joking around. Again, I didn't take it seriously at first, but she kept mentioning breaking up in this harmless, joking way too much to not think something was on her mind. Then she tells me that Alan, who has a girlfriend, approached her at work and told her that she should go on a date with him and lie about her whereabouts to me. Now, I maintained a cool head when I heard this and jokingly asked her, "Oh, so you got plans this weekend?" We both laughed and I tried to not get overly jealous about it. But after this, his name came up more and her jokes about breaking up became more frequent, so I got suspicious. I looked through her phone and found a conversation between her and her friend about Alan, and it basically went like this. Girlfriend says, "Oh my god, there's this guy at work who keeps on asking me to go out with him and I keep telling him no, but he's just so persistent. And OMG, you should see him, he's just so attractive." Friend goes, "Oh girl, what are you gonna do?" Girlfriend says, "Obviously I'm not going to do anything because I'm with someone, but honestly the only thing stopping me is the fact that I'm with OP. He's the one guy I originally liked when I started working here. Am I crazy? When you stop by the store you can see him." And friend goes, "Oh, you're not crazy at all. Ooh, I can't wait." I confronted her about the conversation and she got super squirrely when I said, "So, you like that guy Alan at your work. Is he the guy you have in mind when you joke about leaving me?" She basically tried to rationalize everything she said, but just the way she reacted showed me she clearly felt more for this dude than she let on. She got this big stupid grin when I mentioned his name and could barely keep her story straight about the conversation she had with her friend. She kept saying, "I don't like him, but yes, I think he's attractive," which really pissed me off. I got especially annoyed at the fact that this guy had a girlfriend and she was basically saying that if I wasn't in her life, she would gladly be his side woman or bitch or whatever. It's very humiliating to think that she sort of fell for that type of guy. Obviously, she doesn't love him, but just the fact that she said she would date him if I wasn't in the picture makes it seem like this guy is just as good of an option as I am. He's trying to cheat on his girlfriend with her and she's bragging about it to her friends? What the actual F? This scumbag works in retail and I make more in 2 hours of work than he makes in 20 hours. What is this? I don't get it. I know she didn't cheat on me, but this seems like the precursor to it. I'm also worried because if this guy had her basically ready to jump on him and he's pretty much a bum, then what happens when somebody competent and good looking comes around? I feel like I can't trust her at all anymore. If that's all it takes for her to be willing to go after someone, then how the hell can I trust her? That dude is a bum. Jeez, I don't know what to do. I can't tell if I'm overreacting or not. Am I out of line? Oof, OP, this is a tough situation. In my country, there's a saying. I don't know if any other country has this version of it, but it goes something like, "Entre broma y broma, la verdad se asoma," which basically means that in between jokes, the truth arises. And your girlfriend joking so frequently about a breaking up in all these scenarios, that means it's something that's in her mind, and not just somewhere in her mind, it's top of mind. Also, the fact that she just said if you weren't in the picture she would definitely date this dude, well, that totally and absolutely sucks and isn't just a red flag, it's a declaration of intent. And yes, you are absolutely right that this Alan dude is scum, because he wants to cheat on his girlfriend and wants your girlfriend to cheat on you. The fact that he works in retail has nothing to do with his immoral fiber. Also, I wouldn't suggest you go down the what if rabbit hole, because you don't know where you might end on that one. Just focus on your relationship and what you need to decide. One other important fact that you need to take into account is that you haven't been in this relationship for so long and she's making all these weird jokes about leaving you. Maybe you just want to leave. And what do you guys think? What would you tell OP? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Hey Little Birdie says, you're justified in feeling upset. It's always distressing to find out that your significant other finds someone else attractive, but keep this in mind. Your girlfriend said explicitly in confidence to her friend that she keeps telling him no, and that the only thing stopping me is the fact that I'm with OP. She has made a deliberate decision not to cheat on you. She values you more than she values him. It's possible that this situation could change, and you should definitely keep your eye on your significant other's behavior, which has been sketchy. She's being hounded by a super attractive guy, and she's probably loving the attention, regardless of whether or not she wants to be with him. But honestly, she hasn't actually done anything wrong at this point. I think what may be best is for you two to have an open and honest conversation. It sounds like her jokes about breaking up and leaving you are really weighing on your mind and are making you feel vulnerable. Why don't you talk to her about it? And OP responds, yes, your point raises the true meat of this issue. I feel like she disrespected me in the most respectful way possible, if that makes any sense, by rejecting this guy's advances but still getting giddy from the attention. I feel like showing off this guy to her friend is just plain wrong though, and it's what pushed this over the edge for me. We all get crushes, but the amount of pride she derived from this lazy guy hitting on her disgusts me. She knew he had a girlfriend, but she didn't care. It's as shallow as you can get to be willing to let someone into your life who you know has no morals just because they are attractive. Makes me feel queasy to think I'm dating a girl with such low standards. She didn't cheat, but she did hurt my feelings pretty damn bad. It's so odd that I don't know how to make sense of it. Queenie Wynn says, well, I do agree what she is doing and saying isn't right, but his worth isn't based on his earnings. Same can be said for you. I very much doubt it will work out between you two since it's only been a few months and she's already window shopping. But not all women will choose you for what you make, and that kind of attitude can be very unattractive. You can't win them all, and an attitude like that can't make losing any easier. Callisti Gold says, it means you should ditch her so she can go be with him, because that's what's going to happen eventually anyway. Additional information from OP's comments. The thing that truly bothers me isn't that she found him attractive, is that she found him attractive in spite of the fact that he was willing to cheat on his girlfriend. Her mother got impregnated and ditched by 2 different men. She barely knows her father, same goes for her sister. Cheating ruined her family life and her previous relationships. She was the victim of it, and she unloaded all this on me when we were becoming close. It was really sad to hear. It made me resolve to never abuse her trust in any way in the slightest, cause she clearly had been through enough. But then this comes along and I'm shocked that she would even consider this guy after how much trauma she faced due to cheating. It just blew my mind and made me look at her totally differently. OP's edit. Shout out to the people in retail. His being in retail isn't a fault of his. I exaggerated when I said I make in 2 hours what he makes in 20. It's more like a 3-to-1 ratio. I don't know the guy or his potential career paths, but I brought up the retail aspect to show that I'm more established in my career than he is. Mostly, he's a scumbag because he's trying to cheat on his girlfriend with my girlfriend, not because he works in retail. Alright, well, OP definitely got a lot of different opinions from the community, so I guess he's got a lot of thinking to do. I've just got one question additionally here for you all. If you were OP, would this be a deal breaker for you? Let me know. Now, let's move on to the first of 2 updates. Well, I had a talk with my girlfriend and it got pretty aggravating. She basically said that he's nothing serious and it was just a crush, like so many of you said. She also said she didn't want to be his side bitch, but would date him if he didn't have a girlfriend and if she wasn't with me. That wasn't too nice to hear. I asked her, why the hell would you want to date this guy? And she responded, because he's a good guy. My head practically exploded. I started yelling, he's a good guy? He's trying to use you and you have the audacity to claim he's a good guy? She got super defensive and started fumbling her words and I kicked her out. The next day, we spent all day trying to talk about it. She honestly had been okay up until this point, but nothing special or noteworthy. Her disrespectful comments and then this all compounded, but I still wanted to make sure I wasn't making a mistake. She was really hard to talk to today. When I asked her if they had ever done anything together, she said no, not at all, which I truly believe. But when I asked her, why do you think he's a good guy, she avoided the question 5 times before I got a real answer out of her. I said that the thing I'm mostly bothered by is that she would not only date this guy, but also claim he's a good guy to my face, even though he's clearly a piece of scum. I asked her what could possibly be so redeeming about this guy that she had the nerve to say he's a good guy, and her answer was, well, he's really book smart and intelligent. And my response to that was, so that's enough to overlook the fact that he's obviously a cheater? You're an effing idiot. And she hung up. Something about her saying that just drove me over the edge. It's just so effing disturbing that she would defend this guy. It made me realize she clearly felt more for him than just physical attraction. So I dumped her ass and told her never to call me again. She's insulting me, calling me insecure right now. Like I give a crap. I'm glad I don't have to deal with her dumb ass anymore. OP's edit. To give some more clarity, I've been seeing her for about 6 months total, 3 months of dating and 3 months of a relationship. Prior to her, I had just come out of a relationship where I was cheated on in the first few months and basically got the excuse, I wasn't sure if I loved you or not. I actually made the mistake of taking her back and staying with the cheater for 1 more year. That relationship was hell in so many ways that it has affected my ability to trust women. I actually thought I had found someone trustworthy in this new girl, but clearly she got bored of me, or perhaps was just like my other ex in that she wasn't too sure yet. I definitely have trust issues and she knew that, but couldn't help herself, so I removed myself from the situation. Okay, at this point in the story, I need to say, I absolutely agree that this Alan guy is not a good guy and he is scum. And it's a good thing that OP and his girlfriend broke up because they're clearly not a match. However, I absolutely disagree with the way that OP went about it and how he lost his temper. The screaming, the losing his head, the name calling, all of that. I understand that you might be emotional, but that's not a way to respond. So now let's move on to the final update and see how this story ends. So I had a few days to cool off and really think about what happened that night when I basically just told her to get out of my life completely. A decent amount of the commenters were pointing out that my aggressive way of bringing up the issue probably played a big part in how she reacted. They were totally right. After a few days of thinking about it, I realized I'd let my anger get the best of me and made it impossible for her to be heard at all. So last night, I agreed to meet with her to hear what she had to say about it all. I could have just ignored her completely, but I was actually really interested in how she could possibly think she could explain this away. I met with her and she began apologizing, saying things like I didn't deserve that at all, it was immature and disrespectful to the relationship. She again explained how nothing had ever happened between them, not even a hug, and that she always rejected his advances, never leading him on once. He really just wouldn't leave her alone about it. I told her it didn't seem like she put her foot down hard enough with him if he kept coming back, and it seemed to me that she let it happen. She said she did tell him to stop every single time, but that he really just wouldn't leave her alone. I asked her about the bragging, showing him off, and the weird sort of flattery, and she told me this. Here's where it gets interesting to me. She started explaining to me that she had a little crush on him when she first started the job before we even started dating, but they never pursued each other. She thought he was cute but didn't act on it. Soon after she started that job, she met me. We got serious, and in her own words, she forgot about the crush I had on him, even though she still found him attractive. But something happened after we had been official for 2 months and he started aggressively pursuing her. At first, she didn't even think of it cause he was a flirty guy and just kept shooting him down. She knew at the time that he only wanted to have sex with her, so she didn't take it seriously. But he started asking her out to dinner and talking about romantic dates, and something in her just clicked back on. The feelings from the crush she had on Alan before came flooding back, and suddenly she was actually having an internal struggle with her feelings. On one hand, she knew he was scummy, but she was just so physically attracted to him that she started to like him a little. She knew he only wanted her for sex, but when he started talking about dinners and stuff, she started thinking that he actually liked her as a person. When she started thinking that way, she just couldn't help how attracted she was to him, and the crush came back. She was flattered that the person she secretly had eyes for in the beginning was now crushing on her, and she just couldn't help the way it made her feel, even though she was now with me. At the same time, it also made her super uncomfortable because she liked me way more than she ever liked him. She told me that he didn't have anything that I didn't already have. She's just as physically attracted to me as she is to him. Possibly true, as I have never seen this guy. And even though she said he was book smart and whatever, that I was way better than him in every way. She didn't even think of him as a threat to the relationship because she knew that she would never do anything with him or leave me for him, but unfortunately, she said some dumb stuff to her friend in a moment of excitement when she started feeling flattered by her former crush, crushing on her. I was really appreciative of her honesty, and even though it was tough to hear, I didn't even want to snap back or anything. It was sort of amazing to hear, so I asked her about the whole defending him when I asked her how he could possibly be a good guy. She really didn't want to answer that question, so I kind of answered it for her. I remembered something some Redditors posted on my previous update, and I told her, I understand why you were hesitant to answer, because ultimately it's a lose-lose for you. You could either lie to me and say he's a good guy to make it seem like you're not shallow, but then it would seem like you're more than just physically attracted to him and actually like his character. By trying to avoid hurting my feelings, you made it seem like you actually liked him more than I previously thought. Or you could be honest and just say you found him cute and charming even though he was scummy. You knew he was scummy, but you were so physically attracted to him that you couldn't accept he was actually a bad guy. If you had just honestly said you would F him but never be with him, I may have been mad at hearing that, but it would have been way better than listening to you lie on his behalf so you didn't seem shallow, because it only amplified the situation and changed the dynamics. She was pretty shocked at me saying that, and told me, I honestly never wanted to say why I was attracted to him to you, cause I thought you would just flip out. But yes, he's just cute and charming. I know that doesn't make him a good person and wash away his despicable behavior, but I just didn't know what to say to you when you were so mad at me. It's just a physical attraction that was compounded by the crush I had for him before I even met you. I don't know the guy at all really, aside from talking occasionally at work, but he's not you and I wouldn't trade you for him, ever. You're just as cute and charming as him, if not more so, but you have so many more amazing qualities and all he has is looks. It was the weirdest feeling. On one hand, her honesty cleared up exactly how she felt about him, but I still was a little unsure about how much she liked him. It's not nearly as deep as I thought it was, but the thing is, it's still there. She just admitted to being able to overlook his huge red flags due to physical attraction, but also admitted that it was sort of silly. She also told me about how she and the friend she had the conversation with talked about what Alan was doing to her that night, and they both agreed it was gross and that she would never do it, but she couldn't help but feel somewhat flattered when he did those things to her. She has got to be the worst liar I've ever encountered, but I didn't get a notion of the seed in our conversation. I apologized for yelling at her and calling her an effing idiot, and I explained that I understood why she was afraid to be honest with me from the get-go given the way I was acting, and that I'm not interested in losing control of my emotions like that anymore. However, we're not getting back together, cause I still feel weird and uncomfortable about the whole thing. I told her I appreciated her honesty, but it was still concerning hearing just how easily she developed feelings for someone who isn't even a good person, and that I have a hard time believing it wouldn't happen again. I know as humans we can't help who we're physically attracted to, but it's very concerning to hear it from your partner. I still don't know how to feel about it. It clearly happens in relationships, but it's scary to think that all it takes to lose control of your emotions is looks and charm. She didn't do anything with him, but I don't know, this still comes across as off-putting, even if she was 100% honest, which I think she pretty much was. Also, I asked her if she would tell Alan's girlfriend about his attempts at infidelity, and she said no. She said it would only cause problems at her job, and she didn't want her name involved, like she doesn't want to piss Alan off. Maybe I'm just paranoid. Anyway, thanks for all the comments, the supportive ones as well as the ones calling me out. Well, OP, it seems like you guys finally had a proper conversation about it, and I still agree with your decision that this relationship isn't working out. So thanks a lot for sharing and all the best in the future. Now, after that ride, I definitely need a mood booster. So if you do too, then stick with me and let's move on with that. And it's a post from Petty Revenge by user Foxy Uso. I stopped a kid playing Fortnite. I'm a tradesman and I was working on the power at a house when I asked the man who owned the place if he could turn off any TVs or computers that were on for 10 minutes while I worked on the power points. He went and told his son to turn off the TV while I worked on the power. Not 30 seconds later, this little 12-year-old brat came marching up to me and demanded I restore the power as he was in the middle of a very important Fortnite game. His dad didn't even flinch at this, like it was a normal thing for a kid to say. So I told the kid very politely that if he gave me 5 or so minutes, I'd have it back on for him. Not 2 minutes later, he again marched up to me and demanded an update and asked what was taking so long. Again, I was polite and told him that it wouldn't be long. At this point, I was pretty annoyed at both the kid and dad, so when I had finished working on the power, instead of turning it back on straight away, I left it off for another 10 to 15 minutes while I cleaned up, just to spite the kid. Petty, but worth it. Oh yes, OP, so much worth it. Thank you for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.